You're never going to fucking kick off. Come on.
Yes, welcome to another episode of the Top 4 podcast, arguably the best football podcast in the world. Today, I'm going to feel a little bit outnumbered in the group because all we're going to be talking about is the England football squad. And if you don't already know, I am the only resident Englishman in the group. Jack, Pash, and Nathan are all Welsh. But because, England's such a big national team, it's a good talking point that we can go over and sort of go over the squad. And I can come at it in a biased English point of view, and you guys can come at it a little bit more neutral.
From a point where we hope they get battered every game.
Yeah, and I say neutral, but I just know a couple of players not even named in the 33 are going to get brought up based on your guys' bias, and I'm not looking forward to it. But I'll wait for you guys to bring those players up. I think there's only one place we can start when digesting this England squad. Should we go through the 26 or should we just work through the talking points? I feel like anyone listening can easily find the 26. And this is based before the friendlies, so hopefully no one gets injured. And this is based on the 26 squad that Southgate put down. I tell you what, first thing let's talk about before we talk about the 26 is what was everyone's thoughts on. Obviously, you guys aren't English, but what was your thoughts on Southgate naming a 33-man squad and saying that he was going to do that the day before he was going to announce? He was meant to announce the squad.
It just stinks of him bottling it, doesn't it? He's absolutely flapped it. He went, actually, I'm a bigger squad. I'll let you guys know in a week or something. He's just flopped it, and he's pressure. He didn't know who to choose.
So I think it was a bit tactical. Like, I can see why you think it's a bottle job, and it is a bit of a bottle job, but he announced it before the Champions League final, and obviously there was a lot of involvement there. I think it was a bit tactical, and he waited for injuries. Obviously, Mason Greenwood was a prime example. I probably would have done the same if I was in his boot. There was so much pressure on the picking, the full right back situation, the midfield and situation. I probably would have done the same. I got to give it to him. I don't like him, and I think since then he's made some terrible decisions. But I can see kind of why he done that. I think
there is a lot of pressure comes with it, isn't it?
Yeah,
but he gets paid to make those decisions, and true. I think.
Do you mean he's had fucking ages to prepare for this? Like it's not like it's
had
like
an extra year.
Do you mean it's like he's had all season? But like he's been going to all these games where fans haven't been able to go into the stadiums, watching all these games, and still couldn't make the deadline.
Again, not to praise him or anything, but I honestly think, as much as I hate to say it, that the England squad is probably the most competitive national squad to get into. So I think that he's got a harder decision than any other international manager on the planet. I think the amount of competition, especially again the right back situation and the midfield situation, I don't think you can get that in many other countries. And if there is, you can count it on one hand.
I think we're biased though on that. I think like because we're based in England or Wales and like we watch the Premier League. Yeah, we know a lot of the players. I think if you went, as not neutrals, but as we have good knowledge maybe about the French and the Spain and the Italian squads, and we're like, oh, they got a couple of good players in each position. But like, if we were based there, I think we'd actually be like, do you know what I mean? So
there's a lot more to pick for.
I definitely think it's a competitive squad, but I still don't think there's any difference between. I would not sit here and say we got a better squad than France.
No, but I think the pressure of the English media is a lot more. Everyone like the English media is notorious for being just absolute bastards, tuning people up and checking them out. So I think it is more pressure just from the media side, but all the national managers are going through sort of the same process.
I think at the end of the day though, he gets paid to do that. That's his job. He had ages to pick it. Also, it screams to me of having all this time to pick your squad and still not knowing like your system or like what you're going to do or even knowing your backup plan, because I know there's injuries, but like that's what you do. You pick your best team or you pick your squad and then you have your backup plan. And it's just like, I made a joke and I was I was pissed off when that thing came, when it happened, and I did the video and I was joking about Big Sam and Mourinho and that. But, if it was a Mourinho or even Didier Deschamps at France, or Jose Enrique. Is it Jose or is it Luis Enrique?
Luis Enrique.
Yeah, Jose Enrique used to play fullback for Newcastle and Liverpool, but Luis Enrique, like I just can't see them doing that. Like I think they'd be like, I know my team, I'm picking it, and they made big calls and they just did it. And I just think with Southgate, I just think it just stinks to me of just like really not. Like
it's typical English management, though, isn't it? It's uncertainty, not selecting the right players, just absolute bottling it, and not choosing off form, just choosing off names.
It doesn't really give you much faith for the tournament either if he's that unsure about his team. Surely,
when the first game's in 10 days.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't want
I'm
that
ready to
happening
go into this. I'm pissed off. There's so much. This is not going to be a quick half an hour. Like, I could have done this on my own, boys.
It's pretty much like that morning was like, right, can't wait to see the England squad. Releases it, and South Africa, I don't know either, boys. Like, I haven't got a clue.
Like, I don't even know what I want to bring out yet. Yeah,
exactly.
I can see the pressure in Tez's face just when he thinks about the first game. We've got Croatia first, I think. And it's quite weird as a Welsh fan. You're just happy to be in the tournament. There's literally no pressure. We just want us to show up, basically,
Get out the group stages, ideally. Yeah, if we get out the group stages, fantastic.
Well, obviously, we want the dream of 2016 again. Do you know what I mean? Like, we want that to happen. And obviously, England did well at the World Cup since then, but like, I think that still has a little bit of a cloud over the Euro competition because you didn't do great that year, really, did you?
No. Well, yeah, but also, look, no, I'm not actually throwing shade at Wales now, but obviously, population-wise, there's a lot less people, so like, it's just a different thing. And also, like, if you looked at the pool of players, Wales have players who maybe don't play in the first division, and that achievement you did against semis was mental. And I know that if you did it again, but also to show how bad England have done in the last few years, getting to the semis of the World Cup was just as like England were just maybe not as buzzing as Wales were to get to the semi, but England was fucking buzzing about it. And like we beat fucking the best team we beat was Sweden or Colombia, very similar.
That was in pens as well, wasn't it?
That was pens, yeah.
But based on this squad, I think it's hard to know where to start. I think we'll work our way from the back and then move our way forward. And then at the end, we can talk about the players that missed out and maybe should have got in, but that's going to come in during. Keepers, very easy to go over. Nick Pope got injured. For me, I probably would have wanted to start Nick Pope, even though I never thought he was going to start. I would have wanted him to start over Pickford. Him getting dropped obviously meant that Sam Johnston's come in, and then you've got Dean Henderson, and obviously Pickford as the three. Ramsdale was brought in as a sort of fourth, which is good. Bring him into the squad for a bit as a young English keeper, but he was never going to be selected over Sam Johnston, I thought. No. So that's very. I mean, unless anyone has anything to talk about that,
I think everyone knew Pickford was going to be number one, but lots of people thought it should be Pope, maybe Henderson, but we all knew Pickford was going to be the main guy, didn't we? Just from
I feel like everyone thinks Pickford shouldn't be number one.
England never change their number one keeper. Do you mean like they get one number one keeper
until they make a howler
for years?
Until they make a howler in a big game, in like an England game. That's what he's got to do to get dropped. Like mess up in an England game, and then he will never get picked again.
Yeah,
he's messed up lots for Everton, though.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say. Loads for Everton, but I suppose, nothing really that substantial for England.
It's a hard position.
Scored against.
It's hard. Goalkeeper's a hard enough position anyway. I remember like Gary Neville was saying like being a goalkeeper at United is like one of the hardest positions. And I think England's probably up there as well, just because you make a howler and the media will just batter you. Everyone on social media will batter you. So
it's the same everywhere you go, though, isn't it? Like any country, like they'll batter their own players. You see Spanish media absolutely ripping into people. Do you know what I mean? It's just a pressure being a football player. That's why you get paid the big bucks, isn't it? Like you got to sometimes put that pressure behind you and just crack on. It's easy said and done, of course, not being a professional football player, but
easily talked over this goalkeeper selection, though, isn't it? I mean, it's just it's a bit boring.
It's done. I mean. Considering the time is on us, it's keepers is what it is. Only surprise was Pope getting injured, which is a shame for him. But hopefully he comes back and gets does well for Burnley or gets a move. Defensively, probably the biggest section based on how many fucking defenders he picked.
There's quite a few on there.
So working from the left side, we got Ben Chilwell and Luke Shaw, who again I don't think anyone here is going to have any complaints about that. Chilwell obviously final. both. What am I saying? Chilwell, final of the Champions League. Luke Shaw had an amazing season with Man United. Interesting, and I think we can have another episode maybe on who's going to start that first game. I would have 2 weeks ago I'd have said Luke Shaw, but now I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
I see what you did there.
I know.
Very clever.
It's definitely still Luke Shaw for me.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
I think maybe against Croatia, you
could. I think that's a bit of bias. Do you think that's a bit of bias though from your side?
No. It's generally not. I think Luke Shaw's the best left back in the country. I think
currently, you mean?
On form anyway. But like, I think him and I rate Ben Chilwell, so I think they're good with rotation if need be. Like, I don't think if you start on Ben Chilwell, you're missing out, or that's a weaker side to go down. I don't think the opposition would be like, all right, let's go down the right hand side if Ben Chilwell's starting. It's a decent 2-man position, I think, and it's just covered. Solid. Like, it's done.
It's one of those things where no matter who gets picked, I'm not going to be like disappointed. I think both similar games.
Yeah.
And Chilwell, even though he got dropped for a bit from Tuchel, he's like come back in, and even Tuchel's realised how good he is. He's been so good.
I know we got obviously England got loaded defenders, but again, Luke Shaw can play that left centre back quite well. He did it a few times for us. And in England love that players that can play multiple positions, don't they?
Yeah. And then with the centre backs on the team,
I can't believe he's only taken 4.
So we've got Harry Maguire, which is good, obviously. Hopefully he's fit. I think one of the most important things, he's like the second most important player in that England team.
He's not going to be fit for the first game, I believe they said.
Yeah. And then we've got John Stones. Harry, that's the starting centre back. And then contentious, deciding who the backups were going to be. Tyrone Mings and Connor Cody. My opinion on that is that they definitely were the two I would have taken if I had to choose two. Even though they've both had both weird seasons where they've had like both. Well, Wolves have been very average this year, but Cody I don't think has been a problem. Specifically a reason for that. And Mings for Villa have been pretty good all year. But there were younger players in the 33 who maybe could have snuck in.
I probably would have taken Ben Godfrey. I would have.
I was going to say, I think he's gone for more experience, isn't he, really, at the back? Older players, a bit more mature. I think that's what you just want solid players who are going to, I think, the older players are going to work well together. Think a lot more about the game.
I know they got pace in obviously the wing backs, left back, right back, whatever. But those centre backs just look like they could be got at. Anyone who's got a bit of pace could, like Stones and Maguire, both awesome on the ball. But anyone that's got a bit of pace could run them ragged, couldn't they? Like they could make some howlers with someone faces. So we'll see how that goes. Imagine them coming up against Mbappe or something like that.
I know.
Like when you think about it, right? When you compare Maguire and Stones to Ferdinand and Terry, like who are you picking? Like who are you taking?
You know.
So I mean, like I just think it's different levels now, and I rate them both. Like obviously the great centre halves, but like a striker looking at Ferdinand and Terry, be like, I'm fucked here. Like I got no chance of getting through this, but they're probably rubbing their hands at the thought of this centre half.
Like I gotta be honest, I really like Maguire. I think he's class defender. I like him as well. I know he had a really like September, August, he was going through a horrid spell, and I think he needs to pick it back up. But I know hindsight's a wonderful thing. Looking at like past defenders, obviously Rio and Terry was on a different level. But I would say that the backup they had with Rio and Terry, like after 2004, like we had Sol Campbell for a bit, but then later on, you had players like Matthew Upson or Michael Dawson. I don't think it was like massively strength and depth. So like I think they were like elite, but then the overall defensive squad is pretty good. I've been sort of like edging my way towards the right back situation because I know this is where my mood's going to take a turn, and I've had a nice day. But
this year,
I think let's go. So we've gone through 6 defenders so far, and believe it or not, we've got 4 more to go through. So definitely, I think without doubt, the most contentious part of the whole squad, the build-up, guesses, like who they thought was going to get taken, who was going to get dropped, and he's fooled us all because he's not dropped any of them.
The more I think about it, the funnier it is. Like, it's hilarious. I love it.
Just to clarify, 4 right backs go into out of 26 go in to the Euros. Kyle Walker, Kieran Trippier, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and
Reece James.
I don't know why. I'm so annoyed by the situation. I've been trying to put the names out of my head, and I was like, wait, who are they again? I mean, yeah, I think someone else should go first on this.
I think
all good players. I think all good players.
You're right. Yeah, you're right, Nate.
All great players. Like, isn't that good for England though, having plenty of options at right back?
I just think it's ridiculous. So when I said in the group chat earlier that the fact that 4 of them have gone and the best dead ball specialist in England has been left behind is mental. And then to combine that with the fact that you've only got 4 centre backs in total, I just think it's bewildering. Like, I just don't get it. Like, Trent is good going forward and he's great on the free kicks, but Ward-Prowse is better, in my opinion. Like,
yeah, but you want a solid midfielder, not just someone taking free kicks out, don't you? Do you
exactly.
mean? Yeah. So don't get wrong, Ward-Prowse class in midfield, but you know, you look at some of the midfield players we got in there, pretty decent.
Yeah,
he's screaming 5 at the back. The fact he's done it right is screaming 5 at the back, and they're not going to go forwards, and they're just going to sit back, and it's going to be shit football. I can see it happening. Why would he do that if he's not planning on playing 5 at the back?
Yeah, and especially because Reece James and Kyle Walker could play the side centre backs, can't they? And Trippier could play both wing backs. So I think he's just thinking, I can't drop him. I can't drop him just because he covers more than one position. And I think that's where managers keep on getting tripped up on. And then I think it would have been a mistake if they didn't take Trent. I honestly do.
I mean, he's got to start 2 right backs because he can't have 3 on the bench. So that's for sure. So he's going to have 5.
Bro, Kyle Walker isn't going to play right back.
No, Kyle Walker's going to play right centre back.
Yeah, he's not playing right back. Unless he's not going as a right back.
The only way Walker, I think, plays right back is if they go for a back 4 and there's an injury, and then he plays right back, because depending who the opposition is in the knockout phase. But I think right. So
what we were saying before, some of these players, well, like Trippier, for example, is going on the left tonight, isn't he? Like for the game, England, obviously.
Trippier should be
they can move. Do you mean they can all play like different positions, which is probably why they take in, people like say about Trent, like possibly moving into midfield and things like that.
I don't, he won't do that.
I'm just saying, that's what he's looking for. So, I know it's a bit of a shit show taking that many, but I suppose they can play other positions, and maybe that's what his thinking is.
I think, when we talked just before, firstly, I said earlier at the beginning, I don't think Southgate has a clue on his system and what he needs to do so close to the tournament. I think this just proves it. He's taken 4 right backs. Like, he's had how long to choose? Like, 3 right backs. I thought 3 right backs would have been enough. Like, I think I said in the group chat, 3 right backs would have been too many out of 26. Yeah. He's taken 4 right backs, and you can price over it how many times you want. Trippier should be there because he can cover left back, which is why I thought Trippier would go plus Walker, and then you got to choose out of James and Trent. Another thing you mentioned was about the centre backs. He's only taken 4 centre backs, so he's taken the same amount of centre backs. I know Walker can cover, all right, 4.5. Taking the same amount of centre backs as you're taking right backs, and one of those centre backs is Harry Maguire, who we got the injury doubts on. And you're saying about Ben Godfrey going. I think that taking 4 right backs means that either Ben Godfrey or Ben White isn't going. Because I think if he hadn't taken the extra right back, he would have been able to take either the extra centre back or the centre midfield. And the reason why I think it's ridiculous is just if it was 23, I know it's not, so we can't live in a hypothetical world. But it's like when you hear that you got 3 extra players to take, you're like, yo, okay, this is it. I was not thinking
extra right backs.
We're going to take 4 fucking right backs now because we've got an extra 3 players. It's just, do you know what I mean? And it's just balmy. And I think obviously the trend was massive, like media story in March when he got dropped for the friendlies. And he's sort of bottled it now. And I think he doesn't fancy Trent in the system. So I think it would be really interesting to see if Trent plays, starting, because it looks like if he doesn't start, then he's just taking him to avoid the backlash.
You just think it's on the phone to him every night, screaming at him
You're just going to play
nobody
boring
wants
football,
that.
man. It's going to be 5 at the back, and it's going to be shit. I
And
reckon I'd put a tenner on that. I love chucking out tenners.
so are we all
You
agreed
do
in a way?
actually.
Are we all agreed that he shouldn't have taken 4 right backs?
Yeah,
Or
of
do
course
we-
you shouldn't
Yeah.
have. No.
No, yeah, you should have.
How many right backs are Wales taking?
I don't know. We've only got
Fuck
2, I think.
Yeah. I was just sort of like, we just muddle our team together. You play midfield. If you're not that fast, like, and you're a midfielder,
Bro, we've played the
back,
same
like, defend.
19-man squad for the past 2 years.
it's all the same. We're happy with it, do you mean?
I know, there's a couple of new call-ups.
Get us a win
There's
or two.
that,
The young lad
Ruben-
from Cardiff, right?
Hold tight, Johnny Williams just got released by Cardiff City today in the Wales squad.
that Ruben Caldwell got first called up though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice hitting new talent. See how they get on there. Nice big tournament.
But yeah, he definitely shouldn't have taken 4. That was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Okay.
It's
Well,
crazy.
I think this is conversation. I think the thing is with this 4 right backs is it has a knock-on effect throughout the squad. So now looking at the midfielders, we've got.
Just before we move on to that, I'm going to say something controversial. I would have taken Ward-Prowse over Trent.
That's
Cool.
not controversial because I would have done exactly the same thing.
But I know that
Over
ruffles
Trent?
feathers, sees. Yeah,
And
100%.
And that decision has cost me £80.
I think you're
Thank
being
you very
biased there,
much,
Nick.
Gareth Southgate.
Mate, come on. He had one part of the season where he didn't play that great, and he's bounced back and he's been class ever since. I don't understand why you've got such a big bias against Trent Alexander.
I am going to bias against him. I just think
It
that
sounds like you do,
he does a
sounds like
better
you do.
job at defending than Kieran Trippier, Reece James, and Kyle Walker. And Ward-Prowse going forward would do everything that Trent does.
But
I think Trent needs to play more
playing
forward.
right back.
Trent needs
When-
to play
when you've
more
dropped-
forward in the Liverpool team. And then when he does, I want him in the England team. But I think, Southgate did an interview the other day and he was like, oh, he can play right back, he can play right wing back. And, I've said always from the start, I think he can play in midfield. And it's like, Southgate, that's cool. But also that don't be putting fucking right backs in the team to play in midfield.
Yeah,
I hope he does. I hope he scores an absolute fucking
He's not going to
worldie
do that
for him.
anyway. He's not going to start experimenting in
So
a
that's
major
why-
tournament, is he?
No, but that's
will.
why I wouldn't bring him because he obviously doesn't fancy him.
Yeah.
And Ward-Prowse should go because when we look at the midfield, you've got Henderson, Declan Rice, Calvin Phillips, and Jude Bellingham, and then Mason Mount as a midfielder as well. So that's your 5
that's 5.
midfielders.
I could see Ward-Prowse just banging some worldy free kicks for England as well.
Bro,
So
he
it's-
is literally, for a
Right.
free kick, he is Beckham-esque. And it's only because he plays for Southampton that he doesn't get the spotlight that he deserves. Like, talent-wise, he's up there, bro. I rate him massively, and I'm surprised that he doesn't play for a top 6 team at the moment. He's unbelievable.
Let's see how he
I
gets
have
on next
nothing to
season.
add. Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Well, let's put it out there.
Yelke's
Like,
his agent, like.
you've got to swap out one of those midfielders. One of those midfielders out of the 5 that you just named. Who would you swap for James Ward-Prowse then?
No, I would take Trent or I take.
No, I'm just
one
saying
of
that
Trent
you've got
or
to swap.
James.
Yeah, but listen, Southgate is happy with his 4 right backs. That's just how it is, right? Accept that. That's what's happening. But if you could swap one of the midfielders, who would you swap for?
No,
Ward-Prowse?
because what I'm saying is it's not enough.
I'm
Midfielders.
just
What do you mean though? You're asking me.
just asking.
You're asking me
if, like if you got to swap one of these midfielders, who would you swap for Ward-Prowse? Honestly, would you swap any of them, or would you keep Ward-Prowse?
No one, because they all deserve to go.
Henderson's a weird one because how much football has he played this season?
It got-
Obviously,
honestly,
I know
he's been
I know
injured.
he's captain. I know
It would be
captain.
Henderson. It would be Henderson based off form, based off play. Like I like Henderson. I think he's there because I think there's 9 players who've got less than 10 caps for England. I think it's good that Henderson goes, but I don't think he starts in my strongest 11.
Because where was the last time he played for Liverpool?
They've been injured for most.
January time, wasn't it?
No, I don't think it's been that long.
Isn't that not risky?
It might be,
is
yeah.
that not really risky?
I'm sure he was
Yeah,
January,
he
February.
started back. Yeah, I'd have to check. I can't even remember now. It's all blurred into one. Yeah, was
Come
it
back,
like
and then he got
he-
injured again, didn't he?
Yeah. He started training. All I saw was he started training back again with the squad at the end of the season. But obviously, I think he was on. I don't know if he made the bench on the last game. I can't remember now. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, again, maybe he shouldn't be going because of the injuries he has had this season. But still, he can make a team tick. Do you know what I mean? If he captains that team, I think he's the best shot of England getting quite far there. Do you know what I mean? He dragged a Liverpool team to a
Do you
Champions
know
League
what?
Yeah,
final.
I agree with
I don't
that.
know.
Season. Do you know what I mean?
I think he's just an important figure to have there. I do.
Key
I
player.
think
mate,
without
honestly.
him, they're a different team. I honestly do. Like you were saying earlier, I think he's probably 3rd or 4th most important man in the England side. I do.
Yeah.
What, Henderson?
He'll be fit.
Yeah.
He'll be fit.
If he's fit and like prime and ready to go, I think he's super important for you. Very important.
Yeah. I think, credit to Jude Bellingham for the fact that it's not really like a shock that he's in. Whilst definitely a year ago had been massive, and like even 6 months ago, I think people would have thought it'd been too early. But he's been so good for Dortmund in the last few months. It would have been, or with the extra 3 players, he had to go.
Is he 17 still?
I think he might be.
17.
I think he might be 18.
It's quite
That's what I was just checking in. I need to double check if he's still 17 or if he's.
He's been 17 for like 3 years.
Yeah, he's quite big, isn't he? I think he's a bit of a fan favourite as well with a lot of football fans,
especially the Brummies. Yeah, they love him.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that I didn't really know who he was when United was linked to him to now is just like he's a baller. Do you know what I mean? Like he's up there.
Yeah, and I think even if he doesn't play much this tournament, I think
experience.
He's one of those players who he's starting in the World Cup. Like if he carries on like he's going, he's one of the first names on the sheet, so he needs to go to this tournament. Mason Mount, I mean, unbelievable. Definitely to go. Calvin Phillips had a great season with Leeds. Declan Rice, great season West Ham. Both obviously had little trouble injuries, but no shocks there. They were always going to go. And then we moved to the forwards, which I mean, these forwards is a bit funny. Some of these forwards do drop back into midfield, so there's a bit of a crossover. Obviously, Phil Foden. Again, just an absolute baller. If you don't pick,
he starts for me.
He starts for me, man. He's got to start. I mean, if you don't pick Phil Foden in your 11, you don't know ball. Ain't that right, Yoki?
Exactly, mate. I think you see my tweet said.
I get the notifications, mate.
I think me and Tez were discussing this. I have a feeling, I think Tez does as well, that Southgate's going to go. He's going to start Rashford or Sterling. And Rashford's on some absolute shit form, honestly. If you watch a week where he's literally...
That's from a United fan.
He's on some really shit form.
He's elsewhere, mate. You must be like he's away with the fairies most games.
He doesn't get dropped. He just doesn't
tired.
get dropped.
Do you reckon he's just tired?
He's been carrying injuries for a while. He just gets overplayed. And when we should be resting him, we play him with just give him some injections in his ankles. And he's been carrying a back problem as well. I think what could have probably done him well was just have the Euros off, but it was never going to happen. Sterling as well. Some poor form. And I'd go Foden and Grealish on both sides over Sterling and Rashford.
No Sancho. Sancho was a good show, I think, on the right.
I would have Sancho on the right.
Sancho, Foden on the left. Yeah. Grealish on the left is a good shot as well. See, it's difficult.
But there should be that pecking order in terms of form, shouldn't there? Obviously, Grealish I get because he's been injured a while, so it should be like Foden, Sancho. But I have a feeling Rashford and Sterling are still going to be pretty much at the top of the pecking order, just because I think Southgate's got his favourites and some experience in these big tournaments.
Supplying the balls to the best striker in England, Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yes. I still can't believe that. Yeah,
didn't I say to you, Tez, on the way to the B, I said DCL would get picked, didn't I? Remember?
But I don't know why.
Down B Street?
I literally don't know why. Yeah, it's best form.
I told you it
was the season.
Say that again.
His best form was at the beginning of the season. Yeah, a couple of good weeks of playing really well when Everton actually looked like a bit of a threat, and he's just been crap ever since. Compared to the likes of like I said, I'm shocked that Bamford isn't going. For example, he's had a great season now. A couple of more assists and goals than him, and it just doesn't get picked. It's snubbed. It's mad.
Yeah, man. I think, and it's obviously started really well, but he's been through the England youth. I think he won the Youth World Cup under 19, under 17 or something. I think Southgate might known him through the ranks. But the stats, the striker. Look, hopefully, I don't hope no other striker down the middle gets played all game. All tournament. We need Kane playing every minute of every match. But DCL, I think he's got 13 goals this season, maybe a little bit more. Bamford's definitely got more goals, and he got 7 assists.
17 goals he had in the Prem.
DCL's what? Bamford's.
Yeah, 17 goals from Bamford.
So Bamford got 17, 7 assists. DCL got 0 assists in the whole season
Right.
and less goals. So I don't know how. You're right. I don't know how Bamford's not even got in the 33.
I know he should have been in the 33 at least.
I understand why he might not have made it, but to not even get the 33 is just, it's just I don't understand. I can only think that it's because of the fact that he didn't get a place in those friendlies.
Especially because I thought Greenwood was going, but it seemed like he pulled out with an injury. So I thought maybe that would have, cleared the space up for another striker. Do you think Greenwood was going?
I think he would have made my squad. I think he would have made all of our squads. But I would say that I think that there's a chance that I think Man United made the announcement before anyone else. I think there's a chance that there's a rumor that Southgate didn't want to pick him because of his injuries this season. He wanted to be sure he was okay, or he wasn't going to pick him. And then United sort of made the decision to say that he wasn't going to be available. So there wasn't that uproar.
Right, okay. Because he hasn't been really that injury prone this season, to be fair. He's been playing a lot of games, but yeah. But I thought with him not going in, I thought maybe it would have been a space for sort of like a Bamford. Watkins didn't make the team out of the squad either, right?
No, so the person that replaced him is probably the only player we haven't actually mentioned at all. And it is a controversial, I think.
I was just about to bring him up because
is Saka for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Again, the fact that he's going over Ward-Prowse, I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I do rate Saka, and I think he is a big game player. He has got a good goal in him from tight angles from all the time I watch Arsenal. But yeah,
but when you compare him though to Foden and even Bellingham, I think there's just different levels to and the fact that Ward-Prowse is sitting home when Saka's just going to be there pretty much on the bench for the whole fucking time.
Well, they play different positions. Southgate obviously just thinks he's covered in midfield.
Yeah, he loves it.
But with Saka, I think honestly he doesn't. I think he plays in the third game if we won the first two group stage. I think he plays in the third and fourth place playoff if we get there. Apart from that, I just don't think I think he's just going for the experience. And I get that because he's probably going to be a big player for England in the future. But there's players who really, really on form, who I think should be there and who you could bring on the last 50 minutes and make a real impact against the biggest teams. And that's so Saka and people. You guys haven't said it, and I was getting ready for one of you to say it. Maybe you were. People are going to say you can play cover and fullback. We don't need any fucking cover in fullback. We have enough. We have enough.
Southgate loves it.
Just fucking pick a player who's going to make a difference. And so for me, Ward-Prowse should be there, but also the man Jesse Lingard. I don't know what else a player. I know he didn't. I don't think he got a goal in the last 3 games or something, but he could have gone there and made a real difference. And you talk about big game players. He is a big game player.
He has got a worldie goal in him in the big game.
So, yeah, that's my piece.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Lingard should have definitely gone, I think. Definitely over Saka. I mean, I think there's that one space, the place that Saka's taken, I think Greenwood had before his injury. I think Saka's taken over, but it should have been Lingard that should have slotted in.
But realistically, Greenwood would have played down the middle if Kane got injured and they wanted to play someone who wasn't holding up, like Calvin Lewin. Or he would have played on the wing where we already have Sancho, Sterling, Rashford, Grealish, Foden, potentially. So it's Lingard, he can play on the wing as well, but I know he could have played in attacking mid in the hole as well. And I just think he's a player that you can bring on and actually make an impact against the top team while Saka's just developing. But I know he's done well for Arsenal, but look where Arsenal are. I know that's not his fault, but it's not like he's at the top level right now.
It's because he plays for Arsenal.
Yeah, they're not a good time, are they? Maybe next season.
Yeah. So I think the key thing now is who, based on the squad, who did we all think out of the 7 that got dropped, including Greenwood? Is there anyone who we would have put in? I think I know Jack's going to say.
Ward-Prowse, yeah.
I'd rate it be Ward-Prowse from Jack, to be honest.
I'd agree with that as well.
It'd be Ward-Prowse and Lingard, I reckon. And Trent and Saka would have stayed on.
Bamford for me, I think. I think you would have done a lot better with him up front, but you know, it is what it is.
You're just like, fuck Ollie Watkins.
Oh yeah, Ollie Watkins is right as well, but yeah, fuck Ollie Watkins.
I think those are the only two I'd make, though. To be fair, the rest of it, you know, is
quite straightforward. The rest, isn't it? Yeah.
Maybe DCL, you know, is the only iffy one. Maybe Bamford should have gone instead of him, but the two definite ones out of the provisional 33 would be those two for sure.
I understand why Lingard didn't go. Like, obviously he's been shit off form, but we do have similar players like your Mount, your Grealish, where they can pick up the ball in pockets of space and drive. I think Ward-Prowse is such a different player to all of them. Like you said, the set pieces, but you can play that sort of box to box and make it tick. Especially if, you know, Henderson, which I reckon I can't see him being. He's not going to be match fit, and also I can see him just getting a niggly little injury.
Him and Maguire holding each other up like.
Yeah, I don't trust it. That's shaky.
We'll see though. And surely you wouldn't be an amateur fucking idiot to take him if they're, you know, that bad. They must be getting match fit. Like I don't know. Are they any? Well, I don't think Maguire's on the squad tonight, but is Henderson on the bench at all starting tonight?
I don't think so.
No.
I'm worried about Henderson. I think he's going as like I think there's a strong chance. I hope to be wrong. I hope he just has. Like, I hope he win. He's like the best player in the tournament. But I think he could be there just as like changing room. You know, as he's you know, as a leader.
You can't get that match fitness out of nowhere when you haven't played in probably 6 months.
What worries me is the amount of midfielders we got. Like, that's fine. He can go as that role, but I think we need an extra bit of cover.
Yeah.
But what do I know? I'm not the England manager.
Who do you think? Last question. Who do you think is going to have sort of the biggest tournament, like the biggest impacts? Obviously, Harry Kane, Golden Boot winner was that World Cup last time? Do you think there's going to be a standout player that's going to be really shining for England? Because I feel it. I think Mount's going to be the man again.
I was going to say.
I think he rises to the occasion. It's going to be
Mason Mount. I think the link up between him and Kane are going to be.
I think lethal. More people are believing in the hype now, because I think we were all mid-season, start of the season, like, yeah.
Bro, I was slating him.
Yeah,
I was slating him.
There's probably recordings of you giving him shit.
Oh yeah,
I remember. Bring up the recording.
Why is Frank playing him? Why is Frank playing him?
Bring up when Pash picked him in his 11. I think you picked him, didn't you, Pash?
Yeah.
Mason Mount in your draft.
Chelsea's best player like this.
No, I didn't. No.
Oh,
no, I swear.
Me fully coming off the fence on Mount was the Champions League final when he assisted that goal.
Yeah,
unbelievable pass.
I still prefer Grealish.
Grealish is good though, isn't it?
Grealish has just made a glass, I think. But
it's because he doesn't wear any shin pads, man.
Very, very true.
Too busy crashing his car into people's cars.
But he's got the number 7 squad shirt now, which is you know, could be
a ball, haven't you?
Or a big bluff.
It's a big number.
All right, so final predictions for where did England come? Quick fire before we rock on. Nath.
Go out in the group stages.
Pash.
I'm only joking. I reckon. I think they're going to do all right. I reckon. Quarters at least. I reckon.
I think you're going out in the group stages. I'm being serious. I'm being serious. I don't want you to. But I'll support England after Wales. But I think you're going out.
He's smiling, but
I can't tell if you're sunburned or just really red with anger.
Sunburnt. Sunburnt as fuck.
Clenched fist.
Mate, like I think you said it the other day, so I'm saying your words. That Croatia game, whatever happens in that first game, it could set you up or could knock you down. Really,
I'll take a draw. I'll take a smelly 0-0 right now.
Bro, I'm not joking, Scotland. Right? I know it's different squad, it's different dynamic, but if you lose tonight, I reckon that's going to be a trendsetter. Like that's going to be setting the bar. But my honest prediction for England is they're going to either go out in the round of 16 or the quarters. I don't think they're making the semis.
You know, I'm agree. I won't say 2 rounds because I don't want to stay on the fence, but I'm going to go quarters. I think we'll go out to the quarters. I think I'll
go round of 16 then.
Yeah. I think, I think if he plays the right players, he's got the potential of really having a good run because I think we got good players, but I just don't. I know we got us to the semi-final of the World Cup, but Southgate, you are not my manager. You're not mine.
My honest prediction is Wales get further.
You put a tenner on her?
Yeah, why not?
That was very hyper.
Bro, I
Yeah!
back my team.
We nearly had like a really good like episode where we didn't make bets between us, and then
Every
Nate
single
just
one.
has to come in like,
I'm making a bet between you and Jack. It's not for me.
Bro,
oh
I'm just
right, oh,
Yeah,
I'm just having
no,
faith in my country. Do you know what I mean?
I haven't got £10 to give. No, I don't. I think.
If you have confidence, bro, you don't need to give £10.
So what's the bet? Like England will go further than Wales, or Wales goes further.
Wales go further.
Yeah,
and
so
then-
if
if
Wales
they
go
go
further, yeah, you owe Jack a tenner, obviously.
And if they go same round, then
can't sort of void. We'll
Void.
void it.
we can just meet at the pub and cry together.
Literally.
Yeah,
Giving
lovely.
each other hand shandy.
Both
don't
out. Imagine how both out in the group stage.
I got our Turkish chops ready for all of us lads when England and Wales go out. Don't worry.
Well, hopefully either Wales or Turkey get through.
Yeah.
Imagine if they both go out. You'll be hooked.
Oh man.
All right, nice one, boys. Nice to actually talk about the best UK team in the Euros.
Next week, Scotland.
We'll analyse the Scotland team.
It's just Andy Robson, isn't it?
I
and Che
know.
Adams. Andy Robson, Che Adams. That's what
And-
we're talking
and-
about.
Didn't Antini
Antini.
God.
They got a similar
and
problem.
John McGinn, the mighty John McGinn, mate.
Mate, they're going to smash it.
Scotland
They'll
going to
be
beat
favourite
England 100%.
That would be class. That would be
100%.
I'd be up
class.
for
I
that.
love Scotland. Let's fucking go.
On that fucking note, right? Before I get too angry for this recording, boys, it's sort of been a pleasure. And yeah, we're looking forward to talking more across the summer, checking in on the Euros, both Wales and England. I couldn't care a fuck about Scotland. But yeah, until next time, boys, it's been a pleasure. You've been locked into the Top 4 podcast. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Like, share, comment, all of that. And if you had any howlers, if you're like, no, we should have brought 5 right backs, then let us know in the comments. Hold tight, Wan-Bissaka in a bit.